Hey there, in this video, I'm going to go over some things you need to know and look out for on your meal plan. So I'm using a sample meal plan here. Of course, they're just going to look different, but all of the same concepts apply. So you're going to get your first meal plan on the first Friday in your program. So just know it's coming on the first Friday. We want to do that always on Fridays, just so you have the weekend to prep and ask questions and get ready for the upcoming week. So Fridays, and they're going to be every other week on Friday. So every 2 weeks, you'll get a meal plan. So your meal plans will be repeated twice. So that means this calendar here, you would do that for 2 weeks. You would repeat this, but just remember, this is only a 1 week grocery list. So you'll need to repeat these groceries as well. So you'll just put everything on repeat on week 2. And the reason we do this is because we found it's more time effective, more cost effective to not have to go through all these new recipes again. If you need to switch things around, you definitely can. One thing I want to make note of here is that you can move things around. Most of the time, things are interchangeable, especially things like the dinners. If you want to move those around, that's totally fine. We try to keep most things, calories and macros, consistent so that things can be moved around. So when you see your meal plan, just know, even if you are going to repeat it for 2 weeks, you can change up the order and things like that. And as you continue to get new meal plans, you can exchange recipes out as well, especially, again, for those dinners. We try to keep everything calorie and macro consistent for your plans for that reason. So when you're going through the meal plan, the first thing you see here is this calendar. And then the second thing that you'll see is the grocery list. And just note real quick before we keep moving forward that anything that's grayed out, that means it's a leftover. So just be mindful of that. So the grocery list. I always encourage people to check this out first. This is where questions typically arise if there are any. Sometimes That Clay Life gets a little funky with their ingredients. I'm not going to lie. That's the program we use to create your custom meal plans. So sometimes there's some weird things in there. Ask questions. Ask your coach. This is not something you have to follow to the T. If you're like, hey, I don't think my store has this, or I have no idea where to find this, or hey, this is super expensive, I don't want to buy it. Don't be afraid to ask. We definitely want to find substitutes for you. So if you see anything weird on here, anything you don't know about on here, definitely ask as soon as you get your meal plan, so we can get that addressed before you go grocery shopping. Try not to text us while you're at the store, and we may or may not be able to answer you right away. One other thing I want to make note of is this nuts and seeds and spices section. This is a great idea to shop in the bulk section for these. So like your HEB or your Whole Foods, they have those little bulk like buckets that you can like scoop out and measure what you want. Definitely do that for things like this. And then if you have any ingredients where you're like wondering what the best brand is, we have a brand recommendation document. And so please refer to that for things like generic things on here, like Greek yogurt. What kind should I get? We have recommendations for you there. And just know those are not sponsored or anything. Those are just brands that we like. So then when you look at a recipe, a couple things you want to pay attention to. The first is the serving size. If it's the recipe you're just doing once and it's just, making fresh that day, that's going to be one serving. But just be mindful when you start to have leftovers, you need to divide up accordingly. Then you're going to have your directions, ingredients, and the notes. The notes are super helpful if you do not have a certain ingredient, if you have some issues with the recipe. Check here first before shooting a question over to us, because a lot of times your question would be answered here. So check out the notes, the ingredients, and then let us know if you have any questions, and we'd be happy to help you out. And then you'll notice there's no nutrition information on here. We add nutrition information starting later in the program, in your second month in the program. We don't want you to get hung up on all the numbers right as you get started, but you will start to see those numbers as you get further along in the program. So let us coaches know if you have any questions as you get started with your meal plans, and we'll be happy to point you in the right direction.